All right, we're going to talk about validating our code now. Web browsers are really good about ignoring errors in our HTML. So most of the time, the web browsers do everything they can to try and display what it thinks we meant when we type this code in. But to actually make sure it displays how we want to, we need to make sure our code is validated. We need to make sure that it's run through an engine that will check it and make sure, hey, you have an unordered list here. I need to make sure you have the corresponding close unordered list. Okay. If you have a paragraph starting here, I need to make sure there's a /p there. And there is an engine on the internet that will check it for us and tell us about all of our errors. Now, I have not validated this page yet, and I almost always have typos. So there's a good chance my page will not validate correctly when we go to do this, and we'll see what we can do to fix it. So let me show you how to find a validator. If you go to my resource page and just scroll down to web resources, the first link there is the HTML validator. So we'll click on that, and it takes us to w3.org. This is the World Wide Web Consortium. If you remember, the World Wide Web Consortium is the organization that determines what goes into the valid HTML code that we're using today, which is HTML5. So this will actually take the file we send it and tell us if it meets all the requirements of a valid HTML file to be on the internet. Okay. Now there's a couple different ways we can do it. The way I'm going to show you right now is to validate the file by uploading it. Later on, once we get this on the internet, we can come back here and we can actually type the address of our web page in and hit check, and it will just go out to the internet and check it for us. But since we haven't actually uploaded this yet, it's coming soon, I promise. Since we haven't actually uploaded it yet, we're gonna just upload the file manually and have it checked. So I'm going to click on choose file, and I saved my HTML page in this folder called web, which is on my desktop. You probably saved yours in a folder called web in whatever system you're using. What are you guys using? You are using Dropbox. So in Dropbox, you probably made a web folder and saved it in there. So let's go inside this web folder. There's my index file that I want to validate. So I'm going to hit open. And then I just hit the check button. And it checks my file to see if all my code is valid. And there we go. Consider adding a lang attribute. Now this is just a warning. Warnings are technically okay. They're things that we probably should fix, but they're not necessarily things that we have to fix. So, hang on just a second. Let's do what it says to do. So add a language attribute to the HTML start tag. So here's my HTML start tag. We can actually add an attribute to that says lang equals, in this case, English. So we use EN as abbreviation for English on here. So it just helps define when the web browser tries to render it. If you remember, because of this gobbledygook we used here to fill in space on mine, it kept asking me if my page was in English or Latin. This should automatically clear that up. When the browser interprets this, it should know my page is English. So I'm going to save it. I'm going to refresh my page. And notice this time I didn't get the little pop-up saying, hey, is this Latin or is this English? So my lorem ipsum didn't mess it up. And now I'm going to go back over here. I'll go back and choose my file again, index.html, and I'll tell it to check it. All right. So that error, it wasn't an error, it was a warning. It's gone now. So language equals English is a good thing to keep in your HTML tag. Okay. And then here, I have another error. Named character reference was not terminated by a semicolon and should have been, and that is my copyright symbol. It's at line 58. So I can go down to line 58. That's my copyright symbol. I forgot that that should have a semicolon after it. Now, it worked correctly. Remember, it worked correctly, but it still didn't meet the standards. So that needs a semicolon. So we'll go ahead and Control S, save that. Go back here and hit check again. And now, document checking completed. No errors or warnings to show. So I fixed all the errors on my page. I knew I would have some somewhere. Now I want to talk a little bit about this. You saw that I had a warning and then an error. So if you really mess something up somewhere, forget a closing tag, reverse two things. I want to warn you that one error, it detects the first error. And then sometimes it gets lost because that first error causes it to be looking, okay, so maybe I left out the closing strong tag here. And because of that, it's still looking for the strong tag. And later on, it decides I shouldn't have a /p because I haven't closed the strong tag yet. So that generates another error, and that error causes another error. And I get this list of like 10 errors. Okay. Don't start looking down through your list of 10 errors trying to find what's wrong with error number 8. Okay. Fix them in order. Figure out the first one, which ours was the language English, right? That was our warning. Figure that out. Fix the first one, because a lot of times if I have 10 errors and I fix the first one, 7 of them will disappear then. And you might only have 2 left or 3 left. So fix your errors in order that they pop up. Don't try to jump down and, well, I don't know how to fix the first one, so I'll fix number 7 instead. Number 7 may not even be a real error. It might go away when you fix the first one. So figure out how to fix the first one and continue. All right, that's it for validation. Any code that you turn in for a project, and you're going to turn it in by uploading it to the web. I am going to check it to make sure it's good code, but I'm also going to run it through the validator. I run everybody's page through the validator when I grade your websites. So you need to make sure that you upload your code and then run it through the validator. You may want to use the version of the validator to validate by URL, and we'll do that at some point here. After you get it uploaded, use the URL version instead of the file upload. Oftentimes people will go in and fix a problem locally. So I go here and fix it, you know, on this document that's saved on my desktop. But if I never upload it to the web, those changes never make it up there and they won't be seen. So don't forget to upload your file and then validate it from the web address. That's all I have for this one. In the next video, we're going to learn how to upload our files to the internet.